Hello, my name is Cam, and for the past 20 years, I have called the city of Hagerstown, Maryland, my home. Hagerstown is a place that most Maryland residents don't even know exists, and for good reason. There is nothing there. We have one mall, and it is smaller than average, and we have the shopping outlets, which were like kind of popular, but now they're dead. So no reason to go there really. But what's weird is, despite nothing happening in Hagerstown, I feel like everyone who lives there has so many stories. Like everyone you will speak to has met someone weird or has experienced a strange occurrence. And it's strange because nothing happens here, but at the same time, so much happens. And this has created a phenomenon that I like to call the Hagerstown Effect. For some reason, Hagerstown just makes weird people. Like, Hagerstown is what people think Florida is. The average Hagerstonian is somewhere between, like, a Saturday morning cartoon villain and an actual, like, urban legend cryptid. I say cartoon villain because it's like everyone in town has their own personal demon. Like, for me, it's a figure that I've come to know as the Hagerstown Hamburglar. Now, the Hagerstown Hamburglar is not someone I've ever actually seen. I just know they exist because I am like their personal victim. At least once a week for a while, I would come back from school and I would find some kind of food in my mailbox. It was usually like a pizza crust. Once I found like a whole cinnamon bun, like someone would just go out, buy food, go to my house and put it in my mailbox. I can't rationalize that. I don't understand. It's like this you think I'm making this up. This happened. This is real. Like, and you're thinking, no, it's probably just like one of your friends, like a prank or something. No, this is nobody I know. I didn't know anyone at this point. And like, it's not just me. Everyone here has those stories. Like, take my friend Jacob and his encounter with somebody that we refer to as the Hagerstown Meat Man.
Please, we have the meat.
Jacob was mowing his lawn one day when a complete stranger rolled up in his car, cracked open his trunk, and this happened.
Yo, my man, I'm like, oh, yo, what's up? So I stopped the mower, and bro was like, yo, you want some meat? And I'm like, in my head, I'm like, the he wants some meat. I'm like, I don't get to say anything. He's like, yo, we got this big freezer in there. We got steaks, we got sirloin, we got ribeye, we got pork, we got
Hook me up.
chicken. And I was like, oh no, man, we already got like a whole like beef in the freezer. I was like, so we're good. He's like, all right, I got you. And I see him go up, and like 2 houses up, he gets a sale.
He made a sale. I gotta respect the hustle, I guess. I have to say though, my favorite story might just be my friend David telling me about how his mom got a flat tire.
The first Spinjitzu master created ninja.
My mom got like a flat tire because she drove over like the railroad tracks, and there was literally like shurikens.
There was shuriken?
There was a literal
What?
shuriken. Like
There's a Hagerstown Ninja, bro. There's a Hagerstown Ninja.
Out of like the railroad tracks. And so like one of them got stuck in her, like one of her tires.
That's the most insane. I never knew about that.
The Hagerstown Ninja is like a Schrodinger's cat situation. Like, he both does and doesn't exist. Like, he's never been seen. Technically, we don't know if he's real, but there's not zero evidence to suggest that he's still out there. I think the Hagerstown legend that people are most familiar with, at least locally, is definitely Dixit Fox. Dixit Fox is a local auto repair worker who is known for his trademark fox ears and tail. Very recognizable. He also drives a terrifying car that is filled with taxidermied foxes. So you will never forget him when you see him. And of course, there is the infamous Dino Women. Okay, that one wasn't actually real. That was an AI-generated article. But if you lived here and you saw that, you probably believed it, which is part of the problem. You know, I actually wanted to talk about that story in this doc, but then I looked into it and found out that it wasn't real. At a certain point, I started to think, you know, maybe me and my friends just attract weird people, but no, because I talked to my dad and he had this to say about our long-term neighbor.
Well, he was famous for coming to our house any time of day, and you'd go answer the door and you'd wonder, like, what does your neighbor want? And it would be some silly thing like, you know, who played the 50-foot woman in Attack of the 50-Foot Woman, and is she still alive? And in the middle of the day, he had to know this, and he never used a computer. He was very old-fashioned. So he had no access to the internet. But yeah, one day he comes over and rings the bell. And so I'm thinking, oh, what's it going to be this time? You know, who trained the Cougars in Island of Lost Souls? But no, he told me that he was getting lonely, and he was thinking in church the other day that he should have a wife. And he had an idea. And he thought, since you know, I worked in a bookstore and met a lot of people, maybe I could find a wife for him. And it was in my own best interest, because he was going to give me $1,000 if he married the woman I introduced him to. So it wasn't just a matter of finding him a date. I had to wait until a proper courtship period was over and they actually, you know, took their vows in the church before I could collect my $1,000, which, you know, that's not enough. That wasn't enough money for me to betray any woman and push her towards this Cro-Magnon guy who you know, who couldn't take the time to go out and try to meet someone on his own.
$1,000. Personally, I would have charged more. You know, I've been poking a lot of fun at Hagerstown so far, and it's very justified because what is this? But I want to clarify that I'm in no way saying it is a bad place to live or grow up. Hagerstown, like every town, is a place with good and bad people, you know, insane, crazy days and normal, average days. Hagerstown just so happens to be one that leans more on the crazy side, but it is still where I grew up, and I do have a lot of attachment to it. It's actually kind of funny when I first got to college and I was meeting all of these people from like different cities and like, you know, people who have never even heard of Washington County. I was actually kind of embarrassed to admit I was from Hagerstown. I would often just say, "Oh, I'm from like northwestern Maryland" and stuff like that because I don't know, I was like, I guess, kind of ashamed. But you know, I've one thing I've come to learn is that it doesn't matter who you are or where you're from. Like you should never be ashamed of where you're from or where you're born. You can't control that, and it's part of you. And you don't have to stay there forever, but it's okay to move on and be grateful for what that place did give you. And that actually brings me to one of the reasons I wanted to make this documentary, is that I don't live in Hagerstown anymore. It's weird. It's easier to admit now that that's where I'm from, now that I don't live there. But yeah, as of August of 2025, my mom accepted a job all the way out in Albuquerque, Mexico, and my family moved there. And now it's just me here in Maryland. And the second I graduate, who knows where I'm going to end up? But I can't imagine I have much more time left in Hagerstown, Maryland. You know, as I've been studying this Hagerstown effect, one thing I have definitely come to understand is that it is not all bad. The Hagerstown effect is crazy, weird. It creates amazing stories and strange people, sometimes scary, but it's just such a fun part of my life that I can now look back on and think about for years to come. You know, Hagerstown is weird, but it's also a part of me. And the Hagerstown effect is something I am undoubtedly afflicted by. I am a Hagerstonian. I can't deny it. That's part of me. Hagerstown's a really weird place, but I wouldn't have it any other way. Thank you for everything that you have done for me, Hagerstown. Stay weird.